Now I want to show you that some people have mountaintop experiences following deliverance session. This is extremely common. We tell people your level of preparation for the deliverance session, as well as an attitude of desperation, will determine the measure of benefit they receive from the deliverance session. Desperation and preparation is vital. When people come into the room where we conduct a deliverance session, their emotions are usually pretty low. They're oppressed, they're depressed, they're filled with anxiety. Sometimes people are suicidal. And so this is their emotions way down. But after the deliverance session, most people will have what we call a mountaintop experience. And it usually lasts for about a week or two. We believe that this is a bubble of God's grace and mercy, that He will take the person and He will put them in a bubble. So all those former things that used to torment them and bring them down, maybe temptations or addictions, He will just take it. It's like you can just take your finger and you can flick away all of those temptations. You can just push all of those things away. But during that time, if you don't renew your mind with these resources that we give to you, this packet of information that we refer to as staying free or maintaining your freedom, if you don't apply yourself, what can happen is that you'll go back down to here with little to no benefit. That's what we have seen on several occasions. The person experienced freedom and they became neglectful. They were just rejoicing in their freedom, but they didn't apply themselves to renewing their mind during this time period. And so they got little to no benefit, and we had to bring them back in for 2, 3, or maybe even more deliverance sessions. But if a person prepares ahead of time, they have an attitude of desperation, and after they experience their freedom, and when they're in this state of a mountaintop experience, they take these resources that we give to them and they apply them diligently. What happens is that I hit the thing too long. If I hold my button too long, it goes black. That threw me off. No. Man. I was almost done too. Could I start there? What's your recommendation? Or I could, let me just start there? That would best? Yeah. If you're in the middle of a thought when you switch the slide. Right. Pretty tricky patching. Okay. Just go. Part of maintaining your freedom and deliverance is understanding what takes place subsequent to the deliverance session. There's many people that experience a mountaintop encounter, a mountaintop experience after the deliverance session. And we tell them that your level of preparation for the deliverance session, as well as an attitude of desperation, will determine the measure of benefit you receive from the deliverance session. Now, this is the spiritual and emotional condition when people come into the deliverance, the room where we're going to pray for them. There's people that are severely oppressed. They're tormented in their mind. Some people are suicidal. They're very low on their spiritual and emotional level. But after we get done praying, at the conclusion of the deliverance session, they have what we refer to as a mountaintop experience, where they feel things have lifted off of them. They're floating. Many people sing, "I'm floating. I feel like I'm in the clouds." Those are very common expressions that people have. And what we found that this condition lasts for about 1 to 2 weeks. And we tell people that you have to invest effort during your mountaintop experience if you're going to get long-term benefit out of this deliverance session. So what we tell people, you take this packet of information that we give you about maintaining your freedom, you apply yourself diligently to them during this 1 to 2 weeks, because during this 1 to 2 weeks, God puts you in a bubble, so to speak. And in this bubble state, He protects you from the seriousness of the addictions that you were formerly in bondage to, or the torment of the temptations. It just lifts off of you. And so what you have to do, you renew your mind with that packet of information that we give to you. Now, we know that there are some people that what has happened is that during this 1 or 2 weeks of their mountaintop experience, they did not apply themselves. They did not make commitments to daily devotions, and they just took their freedom for granted, and they got little to no benefit. No investment, no benefit. That's what took place. But we do know that people, when they do make that investment, they come back to normal Christian living. Nobody lives on a mountaintop forever. So when you do go to a mountaintop, you're going to come back down to normal Christian living, where you're going to be faced with temptations just like everybody else always faces. You're going to be facing problems in this life. So up here is where you apply yourself diligently every single day, without fail, multiple times during the day, renewing your mind, renouncing the lies, and embracing the truth. So this is what happens with a person at the conclusion. I'm saying 100%, but probably over 90% of the people that go through the deliverance process experiences what we refer to as a mountaintop experience.